Well, hello everybody. This is John over in Educational Technology, and hopefully now or very soon you're going to be receiving a whole bunch of iPads for your TK through second graders and teachers, along with cases. So especially for the student cases, you may be in a situation where you or someone near you is going to have to help out with getting those cases on. It's not too difficult, but it's also not too easy. So I just wanted to go over the process real quick to make sure we don't miss any steps and you don't have to backtrack or redo any of those along the way. So first off, we're starting off, you have your iPad, which should be the newest, I believe, 7th generation iPad, and then you have a usable UZBL case. When we look at the case, before you think you're missing something, there is no protective cover. So in other words, the top part has a new foam that will kind of keep dust out of the cracks, which is the main purpose of that. But we don't really need in 2021 that protection for the glass anymore, because the glass has become hard enough that it really doesn't help you much. If anything, it just kind of hinders the touch experience. So you do have some plastic on the back. You're welcome to rip that off now or at the end. I'll go ahead and just do it now, so it's one less thing we have to worry about. In terms of taking apart your case, there's really only one piece that has to come out. And be careful, because this little piece here is somewhat, I don't want to say flimsy, but it'll break, if you bend it too much. So what I like to do is I just bend out the corners like so that I can kind of get a grasp inside there, like so. Don't just pull, but pull kind of down the sides like this so that you can get that piece out. And it does, once you get so far, you can slide it out as well. But basically just get to this point right here. Carefully get this out. And this is your starting piece, this plastic piece that goes in the front. And again, you can kind of see here, this is the foam lining to make sure the dust does not get into the device, to kind of protect it in that sense. Let me put this out of the way for a moment. Next up, you want to get your case, and let's take this plastic protection off quickly. And there is your case. And the first step is to get this onto your case. And the best way to do that, I mean, technically it's the same or similar top to bottom, but you do have the UZBL logo here that obviously you want to be able to read that. So that's an easy way to just say, okay, here's the top of my iPad where the camera is, or you can also see the power button. And at the bottom is the home button. So I'm just going to place it like so. Again, make sure that you're able to read the UZBL up at the top. And that just snaps on all the way around. Each corner, you guys can see, snaps like so. So that's an easy part. And then basically you're just going to get this part into this part here at the bottom. And this part does matter the way you do it, because we have certain holes that have to be accessible. We've got camera hole, we've got microphone hole, headphone jack hole, there's a button at the top for the power button, there's a lightning port hole at the bottom, and speaker holes to also make sure you get sound. So you do want to make sure that this lines up correctly. So I usually just look at it like, okay, here's my lightning port and my lightning port. Make sure that those are at the same. Or if you look at the top, you're going to look at, okay, there is my headphone jack and power, and then on the case there's headphone jack and power. So one way or another, just make sure they're lined up. And then you're going to basically slip this in. Now this is the hard part, because the protection of this is so good. So I usually put it in at a little bit of an angle like so, and then I push it until the top, you'll feel kind of a little bit of a snap in place like so. So this should fit up there just like that. Move this over a little bit if I need to. And then you're going to work your way up the sides like so. Kind of just make sure that this lip moves over as you do. I'm going to kind of do both sides at the same time, a little bit on one side, a little bit on the other side, until you get to the point where you're like, yeah, I'm going to break a nail, or this is getting a little difficult. That's the point where you're going to look at these corners to get the corners in first, and then we'll finish up the rest of the lip. So this corner, I'm going to kind of bend this back just a tiny bit and push in with my other hand until I get that covered just like so. Then I'm going to do the same thing in this corner. Again, bend back on the corner, push it over, and technically you're done. So now you're just cleaning up to make sure that all the sides, like so, have kind of covered over that lip. I'll do the bottom last here. If needed, you guys can just double check to make sure that it's nice and even, but that will give you a nice protected iPad now. And again, to double check your work, check at the bottom, make sure that you can see that lightning port and it's in the correct slot. Same thing for your headphone jack, and you're good to go. Once you guys have done that, you'll notice that you do also have clear access to the barcode. So there's no more remove this part or remove the whole case to be able to scan it into Destiny or scan it as a checkout. And there you go. So that is casing your iPad. Once you guys get used to it, it should really only take you a minute or two each. Good luck. We'll see you next time.